Just adding some weights.
Hello, I'm Kathleen and I'm out here hiking with pots.
This kind, not that kind.
It is March 31st and I went out on Tuesday a couple days ago. It was warmer than I guess. It was warmer than is good for me. Came home with a really bad headache, which lasted literally all night. So not really sure what to do about that. I am heat intolerant. I'm already drinking a ton of water and a lot of salt. I'm thinking I'll probably up my salt intake just a little bit on these heavy days. Anyway, my goal today is to increase the weight I'm carrying. I'm not entirely sure how far I'm going to hike yet. I'm gonna start with Kwaay Paay. Ooh, I'm already out of breath. I'm just shy of 25 pounds on my back right now, which is, you know, I just weigh a little bit over 100 pounds, so you can do the math. So yeah, I'm gonna try this. It was my intent to go up and down this little hill and then go back to my car and eat the snack that I brought, which I didn't bring. Thanks, ADHD. I do have a little bit of food for the trail, but I was hoping to have like a meal at the car. But I'm definitely fine for doing this, and then we'll see how I feel when I get done. I'm getting a little bit nervous because I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to be in a position where I will be able to do multiple overnights in like just over a month. I don't know, like 6 weeks. Anyway, first things first, I'm close to full weight, just not with the correct pack. So I'll do this kind of steep incline and we'll see how it goes. My intent today to leave kind of right after lunch. I mean, late lunch, but still lunch. But I had a bit of a crash, energy crash, pots crash. So got myself fed and watered and rested for a bit and decided I'd be okay enough to come out here. But I got some kind of big life stresses happening with mold remediation, not at my place, but I'm in charge of it. And school, dental work. So prioritizing getting out has been challenging, but I don't know, I gotta do it. I'm trying out some new sun protection. I went out on Tuesday and the sun won. It's pretty good on my neck, but my forearms and hands in particular got a little bit too much, so I'm trying to cover them up today. It's a little cooler than it was on Tuesday, which will help, but I'm still warm because I'm, you know, cruising up a big hill, hauling a big pack. Yeah, I wanted to show you my heart rate stats from Tuesday. It's just about 5 miles, so not super long, but quite steep and still on a warm day. So I was able to keep under 180, but it was still quite a haul. You can check it out here. When I get done today, it'll be interesting to see how today's heart rate holds up against a couple days ago. Shorter hike, some areas that are about the same amount of steep, but more weight on my back for sure. I'm just now almost exactly halfway up. The second half is harder than the first half, it's steeper. But heart rate's checking in around 160 right now. And when I stopped, I got like the feeling faint POTS head rush thing, so I think the added weight is going to be a weird adjustment. Not sure how I'm going to do with that, but I'm not sure how to stop walking any more gently than I just did. Standing here for a minute, I don't feel amazing, but it's better than when I just had stopped. All right, so this weighted hiking was definitely the right move. It's hard, but I feel ready for it. I think this is going to be my main training in the next month. Alright, quarter mile left to go to the summit of this little hill, and here comes the fun part. Fun being steep. So it's not been my goal to be one of those crying people on YouTube, but I completely understand it. And I just have a message, particularly for the men out there, for the women too. Stop making comments about people's bodies. Just stop. Stop. It's not okay. Some more on that in a minute. Made it to the top, yay. 1.6 miles from my car door to the sign. Took me about an hour, which is fine. It's maybe a little longer than it would without such weight, but it's pretty close. I'd say it's like in shoot distance. So, all right. So that gave me enough time to calm down a little and then get more angry and then calm down a little bit. So cruising up. There aren't too many people here today. It's a nice day. It's Friday afternoon. It's a guy by himself, not carrying anything, just kind of cruising pretty quickly, walking up. Said hello on the way up, and when he was on the way down, he said something friendly. I responded like hello, and then he said something that was like, I don't know, I'm sure he was trying to be encouraging, but it sounded kind of condescending. So I said, you know, moving a little slow, I've got a quarter of my weight on my back. And he kind of looked me up and down and he said, well, that's not very much for you. Well, that's awfully dismissive. You don't know that I've spent, 4 of the last 10 years in bed. You don't know that there was a time that getting up and getting to the other room took all of my energy. You don't know that for years I had to have help washing my hair because I couldn't hold my hands up long enough to do that. You don't know that when I had undiagnosed celiac disease, I got down to 94 pounds. Weight is not an indicator of health. Don't make comments about other people's bodies. I'm just fact-checking my emotional rant because I don't want incorrect information on the internet. It's 93 pounds and it was in bed for the better part of 4 years within 12 years. Time is marching on. During those 4 years, 2 years at a time, I couldn't drive. Had people helping me out. I would get out of the house usually like once a week or twice a week for a big outing. It was usually chorus. It took pretty much all of my energy just to do that. And then, and for some of that time, I was, you know, not doing that much. In the course that I was singing in at the time, I was just directing one. And then after that, I would get out for, I don't know, go for a drive, just to get some fresh air. Not me driving, me riding. My dad would drive me around. We'd just go look around at stuff, and usually wouldn't always get out of the car either. Then I started like taking little walks, you know, a quarter of a mile at a time to start. I talked about that a little bit in my first video. Here's a list of things you can say rather than commenting on someone's body. Nice day, isn't it? Having a good hike? Hey, I have those same shoes. What kind of backpack is that? Or just say nothing, like shut your mouth and walk past. Smile if you're feeling like it. The last 4 people I encountered did exactly what I just said. 3 of them were like, hello, have a nice hike. Great evening. Thanks, when I stepped aside for them and their dog. And then the one guy who just, which is fine. Like, I would rather have that. So I thought I'd talk just a little bit more about my upcoming training. I mentioned that I think this is exactly what I need to be doing over the next month. I think I want to try to get out for like, let's say 6 weighted hikes in the next month. I think that sounds reasonable. So if I do, I'm still in physical therapy. We're working on stability. My knee pain is a lot better. My back pain is not getting worse. Maybe it's getting a little bit better. And so if I do my physical therapy a few days a week, if I do like 6 of these weighted hikes, and then I'm thinking on the in-between days, I will do probably sprint rowing or regular rowing. So I think that's what, if I do a hike every, 4 days, that's a lot. 5 days. And on day 2 or 3, I can either do sprint rowing or long rows, and then keep up with my PT work, and then just do like regular walking as many evenings as possible. I usually do that for just like 2 or 3 miles, unweighted. I think that should put me in as good of shape as I'm going to be able to be in. Wish me luck with that. Let's see how it goes. I've got like 2 more hours of daylight, so I'm not ready to go home just yet. So I think I'm gonna take this left fork towards the dam. That was Paay Peak. I'm gonna take this left fork towards the dam. When I get there, I'll decide how much more I want to do. I mean, it's definitely eroding the trail, but we got this like nice little trickling stream. Kind of wanting to go walk around. Gosh, why are words so hard? Oak Canyon Trail. That would add about 4 miles, and I'm doing surprisingly well. It's been a rough week. Just had like a rough week after a rough week after a rough week. So I'm feeling surprisingly okay, tentatively okay. Anyway, I'm gonna come up here, past the dam, and then get over the bridge, and then I'll decide when I get to the place the trail splits. Lots and lots of water still. Last time I was here, that was not passable. Of course, now there's a tree on it, so it's not really passable anyway. Salt break. Look at this cute little spot I found for a salt break. There were quite a few people over at the dam, but have it to myself right now. Took a salt break, switched out my sun hat for a warm hat. Just ran into a couple folks who, 2 guys, no bag, no water, just walking along with barely okay shoes, and they were lost. They're like, hey, how can we get to the waterfall? I'm like, we need to use the word waterfall with a broad definition. Like, yes, there is one. There are a couple, and I'm heading that way, so I'll show you where to go. As a matter of fact, here's one right now. I don't think they're coming. They're lost. Is this even San Diego? There is so much water. It is so pretty. It is so green. Am I ever gonna see it like this again? Because it's amazing. And I want it like this all the time. Look, it's one of our favorite trees. I'm also thinking those guys probably downloaded AllTrails and then looked to see how many miles it actually was to do this and opted out. That's my guess. Okay. So I have a weird trail game for you. Sometimes I look at people and I know exactly what they're going to smell like. Exactly. And it's never good. It's never good. Just passed a family, or maybe like a young grandpa and 3 kids. Anyway, he was very friendly and he smiled. The kids kind of had their head down and were cruising, but he like stopped and he's like, hello. And I looked at him and I was like, I'm gonna need to hold my breath for this guy. I was so right. And I didn't hold my breath for long enough. It was like the very powerful, like not very expensive aftershave. Whew. Yeah, it's a thing. Hey, look, it's the waterfall. Waterfalls. I cannot handle how pretty this is. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Look at this. It's another waterfall. I've wondered before if somebody might sleep there sometimes. There aren't too many homeless people who I've seen in the park here, but that sure looks like a place, doesn't it? Folks on this side of the park have had a really good vibe today. Just passed a guy. I thought it might have been a guy that I saw on the way down from Kwaay. The one who like just didn't look at me and was like, I don't know if it was the same guy or somebody who looked just like him, but you know, he had a beanie, he had like earbuds in, like that's cool. People should have their own experience. Cruising down. It's kind of like high grasses here, so I'm kind of like beating the grasses with my sticks to make sure there are no snakes. And he looks up and he smiles and he goes, hey, I like your shirt. That's good, that's fine, that's appropriate. That's not commenting on my body. But also, weirdly, this is the first time I brought this shirt out. I did this last time too. I don't know, I guess I wasn't paying attention because of the water. So I just came from down there and I'm going down there. Somebody just like carved out a piece of trail here that requires scrambling. If you look over there, there's a walkway on the other side of the stream. But actually I think the regular way to get to it was flooded, so like I could be over there, but I'm not over there. That's where I just came from. for a scope that's about 6 feet high. Yeah, that was a steep hill. It was hard, but I'm feeling strong. And that's not something that I can say I feel all that often. Usually things are just like hard and I'm getting by, so something is going well. I cannot adequately explain to you how terrible I felt at 1 p.m. today. Hey look, it's the other side of the favorite tree. When I said our favorite tree, I really meant like our collective favorite tree. You see this tree in a lot of photos. All right, this is probably one of my last little clips. Number one, sun's gonna set in about 15 minutes, so I've got good, 45 minutes left to light. I should be back to my car well before then. Secondly, I did not change into warmer clothes. I don't know, I think my bladder would be unhappy if I stopped for any longer than I needed to. And finally, I know I've talked about getting new shoes, but I actually have a couple hot spots on my feet. I have not ever had blisters since going to these trail runners, but I think the extra weight on my back has put a little extra friction on the balls of my feet. So that was a really good hike. I'm feeling successful and somewhat positive, even though I'm starting to like lose my balance a little bit from this heavy pack. But see you next time. Wait, are you serious right now? I just walked 6.5 miles and I have not closed my activity ring.